the top 5 most commonly asked questions at your US visa interview. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this video, you're probably preparing for your US visa interview, and I wish you the best of luck. Now, these are my top 5 tips to ace your US visa interview on the first try. I'll go from bottom to the top. So on number 5, you must have complete documents. Your documents must be complete whenever you're presenting yourself to the US consulate. If you do not have complete documents, it means that you're not serious and you risk getting bounced. If you've had a previous passport, make sure to take your old passports, all of your old passports, and your recent passport as well. You're supposed to take your bank statement, your itinerary, your travel itinerary. If you booked your flight tickets already, take that as well with you. There's a form you're supposed to fill, which is your DS-160 or your DS-2019. You take that form as well. You take all your payments, slips, and receipts. You take your appointment letter. Everything, all these documents are actually listed when you book your appointment, and it will tell you like these are the documents you're supposed to take to the embassy, and try not to miss out on any documents. On number 4, I'm going to give overall confidence. Going for a US visa interview is like going for any interview, whether job interview, whatever interview of the sort. So you actually have to dress the part, be confident, and put in all your best. So whatever it is, it could give you more chances if you dress like what you are or who you are. That's to represent who you are. If you're a doctor, wear your corporate uniform. If you're a banker, wear what you wear to work. If you're a military personnel, wear your uniform. You have to be confident. Whatever questions they ask, you should be able to answer and speak fluently. If you don't get any question, just say, please, can you repeat your question? I didn't get that. Politely. And don't shake. Don't look scared. Nobody's gonna arrest you. It's not a do or die affair. Just be confident and you pull through. Next is travel history. Now, this is one of the most frequently asked questions at a US visa interview. They want to know what other countries you've been to, and if you return back to your country, how long you stayed there, were you able to finance this your trip, your purpose of traveling, and if you have any criminal record if you were not deported. So it gives you a high chance if you've been to other first world countries like Canada, countries in Europe like Netherlands, Luxembourg, Greece, Italy, in fact every country in Europe, and Japan, Southeast Asia, China. If you've traveled to these first world countries, it also gives you a high chance. Next is financial proof. Now they want to know if you'll be able to finance your trip, the purpose of your visit to the United States. So you need to be able to back up your statement whenever you're asked this question. So they might ask you, what do you do for a living? How much is your monthly income or your annual income? What's your household income? Who is sponsoring you? Who is sponsoring the trip? So basically, you have to prove that you'll be able to finance your whole stay in the United States, and you'll be able to come back to your country. I know I keep saying this, come back to your country, come back to your country. They really do not want you to stay in US. They really do not want people to be immigrants. They want you to come to the US as visitors and go back to your country, which brings us to number 1. Number 1 is the topmost and the most important part of getting a US visa is you must prove home ties to your country. Anything that is going to prove home ties, anything that is going to prove that you're going to return after your stay in the US. Because if they grant you a 2-year visa, if they grant you a 5-year visa, are you going to use it? Are you going to stay there? Are you going to abscond? So they really want to know how strong your family ties are. Probably they'll ask you questions like, do you have family? Are you married? Do you have children? Where do you work? And what position do you hold at your company? Do you have businesses? So these are my top 5 tips. So remember, always take your complete documents, go with overall confidence, your travel history, your financial proof, and then prove strong home ties to your country. So I mentioned a DS-2019 or a DS-160 form. This form is filled online. It's a requirement before you actually go to apply for a US visa. So this form is filled on the cac.gov website. They're going to ask you a series of questions, and you have to answer these questions truthfully, because every single question they're going to ask you is from this form. So whatever you have to do in this life, whatever you're going to do in this life, fill that form by yourself and try to memorize those questions. Try to memorize your answers, because if your answers don't tally with what you fill in the form, they'll basically think you're lying and they'll probably deny you your visa. So once you start filling this form, you're going to fill all your details. It includes your name, your age, your home address, your passport details, and everything. Next is your travel info. It's going to ask you your travel history, countries you've traveled to, where you'll be staying in the United States, and if you have any contacts in the United States. If you're a student, always put you're going to live on campus. Even if you're going to live off campus, always put your school's address. And then if you're going as a visitor, if you're going to be staying at a hotel, try to memorize the hotel that you're going to be staying at. If you're being invited by somebody, try to put the address of the person as well. Next is family info. Usually they ask you questions about your family, whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you have any family, mother, father in the US. So which brings me to the question, if you have family in the US, will you be given a visa? Honestly, it varies. You might be given a visa because you have family in the US. You might be denied a visa because you have family in the US. The main idea is just to be truthful. Whatever information you have, just be truthful and put it in your application. Next is your work info. They're going to be asking you questions about your work, where you work, how much you make per month in your local currency, any other work history you have. Fill all that in the form. And lastly, they're going to be asking some questions about your security and background information. So like I said, once you're done filling this form, you need to memorize what you filled in this form, because they're the same questions that are going to be asked you on the day of your visa interview. So do not lie, do not change your words at all. So I came to the US on an F-1 visa, and here are the series of questions I was asked when I got to the counter. Have you traveled before? Where did you travel to, and how long did you stay there? Why are you traveling to the US? Why did you choose this program? Did you apply to other schools? Why this school? Who is sponsoring you? What does your sponsor do? Okay, can I see your previous passport? Alright, can I see your transcript? Where do you currently work? And that's how I was approved. So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned one thing or two, and I wish you the best of luck in your US visa interview. Bye, see you next time.